Welcome back to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, joined by my lovely co-host, Suzanne Ross, and we're talking to you about the upcoming Sedona Ascension Retreat. And this is going to be a spectacular event, as you can see by the poster right on your screen there. Suzanne, you want to say anything about the people coming in, then we'll talk to our guests?
Absolutely. You know what, Alan? So many people are really resonating with this fiery theme of our retreat and opening portals through unconditional love, because I really do believe that love is the key that opens these portals. And we're talking about both cosmic and ascension portals. So we've gathered a group of people who can teach about ascension, like William Henry, Sarah L. Caldy. And then we have people who are opening cosmic portals like Chris Bledsoe, of course, Daryl Lanka's friend from the future, Bashar. And then we have Sarah Bressman Cosme, quantum hypnosis, healing technique practitioner, and Danny Sheehan,
All right,
who we've
just
never had before. Um, because he's going to give us UAP, UFO, ET updates. And so we have a diverse group of people covering many topics, Alan, and I am delighted to have the channelers. And today we do have the internationally renowned channelers, Pia and Cullen.
Yes, so excited to have you here. And you were saying, Pia and Colin, that your channeling approach is a little different than most. And this is fascinating to me because I kind of grew up with channeling, it was my awakening was with channeling. So you channel at the same time, but you don't speak at the same time. How do you know who speaks when?
We used to speak at the same time if the words came through, but it confused people because it's like watching that tennis match back and forth. So Laarkma, our Pleiadian friends, chose, and they said, we're going to choose Pia to be the voice piece for now. They like my musical tones apparently better than Cullen's musical tones. So they've chosen me, but
Wait, so you're channeling, not Colin. Is that it?
At this time.
I am the speaker, but we're both channeling. But here's an interesting twist on this, Alan. Laarkma, the Pleiadians we work with, they don't even really like the term channeling because they say that intends a one-way bunch of information coming in. They like the term synchronization or merging because they like conversations. So our energy is synchronized with them, and then they speak whatever they want the group to know, depending on the energy of the group. They read the group and they present what needs most to be presented at that moment.
So your energies are synchronized with each other as well, right? Because you're on the same, you come into the same frequency, right? It's like you're
Absolutely. What I think the best way to describe how we do what we do is they chose us because we're male and female. We are a balanced team of divine masculine and divine feminine. And this is going to sound funny, but it's true. Our outer personalities are absolutely diametrically opposite. Pia's hot when I'm cold. I'm cold when she's hot. Everything we do is opposite. And they believe that that cancels out anything egotistically, belief system wise, or anything that we might bring through our own personal experience or belief systems. We cancel each other out. So what we bring is purely what they're telling us to speak to humanity.
And we have to be touching at the time that we bring forth. They won't, if we're not even physically touching, they won't come through. They have to absolutely make sure we're aligned with them and with each other before they come through.
So the best way we can explain how we are a little bit different than other channelers is they use what they call the libraries of both of our minds to translate the information that they're giving humanity, because they don't speak in a verbal language like humans. They speak in mathematical and musical tones to each other, heart to heart. And that wouldn't be possible to try to transmit that directly to humanity. So that's how they use us to be able to bring the information to humanity in English.
well, I have to ask you, how did you meet? Because easy to meet.
Destined.
I'm still looking for someone in my vibration, but yeah, how did you guys meet?
Well, that's a really good, deep, and very wonderful question. Pia and I have been together for many, many lifetimes. Laarkma doesn't use the term past lives. They know that everything happens simultaneously, that we're all cosmic citizens. We're all having simultaneous experiences in different dimensions and different realms.
And so we have been together working with Laarkma and with each other forever. So simultaneously. So how did we meet? When the moment was right and the magic was there, I walked into an art gallery where Cullen was in the same art gallery, and it just began right that minute.
It clicked.
It just clicked, and we just recognized each other instantly, and that changed our lives.
Wow.
So-
Where was the art gallery? Where was this?
Santa Fe.
Oh, I used to live in Santa Fe. And how long ago was this? What year was that about?
Lifetimes ago. It seems like it was forever. It's been so long.
About 25 years.
Like the 90s, somewhere in the 90s.
Yes.
I was there somewhere in the 90s. But anyway, so you met instantly and immediately. Well, you didn't start channeling immediately. Maybe you did. I don't know. But how
Well,
that
okay, that's also a really interesting and kind of funny story.
But as a little bit of background, Cullen and I never went to channeling school or read a book or did anything about that to bring forth this energy. We have been talking with interstellar realms, interstellar beings, angels, fairies, David Kingdom since we were children. It's been a part of our life forever. So when Laarkma approached us and said, time to go to work, it really wasn't a shock. We just didn't expect we'd be doing it like this because we both had professional careers at the time. I was a practicing psychologist.
I was an anthropologist and an archaeologist.
So we had ongoing careers. And when Laarkma started talking to us, which Cullen's going to explain, they asked us, would we be willing to do this as a full-time thing? And we dropped away from our professional careers and said, yes, we will be of service. Now, how they started working with us in this current lifetime.
We were having a celebratory dinner for me. It was my birthday. And during the dinner, we were living at almost 10,000 feet, high in the mountains. We had no radio reception. We had no cell phone reception, no landline. The only communication device we had was a shortwave radio. We would listen to the BBC or other stations as our only entertainment avenue. During this dinner, the shortwave radio turned itself on. And we looked at each other and went, did you leave the radio on? And we both said, no. We got up, turned it off, went back and finished the meal. For a week to 10 days after that, exactly at the same time.
Which happens to be the time that Cullen was born.
It was
the minute.
My birth time. The shortwave radio continued to turn itself on. We didn't know what to make of it. We unplugged it. We moved it to another room. Every night at the same time, it continued to turn itself on. After a week or 10 days, we said, okay, who is this? What do you want? What do you wish? How can we help you? And we started getting what we will call thought forms. We were getting telepathic messages about really incredible information, space travel, binary information, medical technology that wasn't available at that time, many, many really, really deep things. And we were just flabbergasted. We started taking notes physically. We couldn't keep up, even if we used shorthand. So one of us had the brilliant idea of tape recording once they began speaking to us, which happened a few weeks later. And we started recording everything they said. And that's how we began.
Wow, that is fascinating. So then you started a dialogue with these beings, and then what are the tools for ascension? Because that's really what we want to focus on, because Suzanne's doing this amazing conference called the Sedona Ascension Retreat. that you'll be at. And so your tools for your ascension, I mean, it's great to hear your history, and thanks. That's very interesting. So the tools for ascension was what your beings are really here to deliver to the planet, right? Is that
And they also want us to become more aware. People are always asking, when are they going to show up? When are they going to be here? And one of the things they're going to be talking about at the conference, it's not about when they show up. It's when is our vibration or frequency high enough to see that they're already here. So they're going to be opening up frequencies for people to be able to see that they're already here with us. So that's part of it. But as far as tools for ascension, they will gauge the audience who's there, and they will look at what needs to be spoken in that moment and give it to the audience. But we do have a few specific background things that we can tell you that are always included.
They will share their perspective on who we are, where we came from, why we're here. They will talk about the incredible understanding that this planet is different than all other planets. We have free choice here. Many other societies in other areas do not have free choice. We are able to make decisions, and if we work in a highest vibration attitude, each of those high vibrational choices makes a huge difference for us personally and going out and out and out to everyone else, humans, animals, trees, everything on this planet, because everything is energy.
So we're a little curious ourselves about how they're going to fit all of this into our time frame, because they have so much to share. We're a little curious about, okay, what's going to take the priority? What are you going to share with the group? How is it going to unfold? Because oftentimes when we're in a gathering like this, they will talk for longer than our designated time. So we're interested to see how it's going to unfold also. But I can tell you, or we can tell you, one of the key things that they always talk about is clearing out trauma or belief systems out of our field. And they give specific tools of how to do this, specific ways to wake yourself up to being aware of what's blocking you. And they also show and talk about how they help support removing blocks so that you can be free to move into a higher frequency. They'll be giving specific steps for that.
They also talk about emotions. Apparently, here on Earth, we have something that many other societies and other planets and other realms do not have. We have emotions, and those emotions are tools to help us understand when we're upset, when we're triggered. There's a reason for this. Something is out of balance.
Something within us is out of balance.
Never someone else. When we're triggered, it's not because someone else or a situation is causing it. It's because we haven't done our work. We haven't gotten through our shadow work to actually be as clear and high vibration as possible. So their understanding of emotions is a huge part of their work.
And they will be sharing with the whole group who's there how to notice the difference between when something is hitting you intensely or if it's just a passing feeling. And they'll be helping us to navigate how we can get into the higher frequencies, because that's one of the biggest tools for ascension. Everybody's talking about frequency these days, and it's not just a mental concept anymore, it's a feeling state.
But maybe you can give us a short tidbit about how to use one of your tools, and then we'll have to come see you in Sedona for the rest. But what's a practical way, if you don't mind, just that someone could use to start to move in that direction of clearing?
Well, when Laarkma brings this forth, if they were talking to you, they would walk you through the exercise of how to do it. If you want Cullen and Pia to tell you, we'll give you it in 1, 2, 3 linear steps of what they tell. What do you want for your show right now?
Well, I'd love to get in touch with the Pleiadians, if you don't mind. I mean, that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it, Suzanne?
Absolutely. We would love that.
I think we would.
Let's let Laarkma answer your question. Alan, they will ask you when they introduce themselves, what is your heart song? And this is the way they synchronize their energy with yours. And what they mean is just state your name and your voice. That's how they get your energetic signature.
Okay, I think I'm ready. I think I'm dressed. Okay. What do you have to do to get into that state? I'm just curious.
Just take a moment.
It's immediate.
Yeah, we just have to be holding hands.
Oh, okay. I think they're already there. Is it more than one being that comes through, or is it one?
It's six. It's a group. They call themselves one of six and six of one.
That's one thing they told us when they first introduced themselves to us. When we asked, what is your purpose? What is your name? And they said, well, our purpose is to help you understand collectively that love is the highest energy in the universe. And we're here to help you because we went through an evolutionary process so long ago. It's impossible to explain how long ago it happened. But we went through a painful, extraordinary experience, somewhat like yours, not exactly. We didn't have emotions. That wasn't part of our process, but we're here to help you because we went through a similar situation. And so they said, we're one of six and six of one, as Pia just said. We're six individuals with six separate interests, personalities, but we work as a group of six because we're unified and everything we do is involved with unity consciousness. So we work as a group through our individuality.
Right. So you're talking about six of one, half a dozen of another, basically, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. But we're going through quite a painful, personally, collectively, globally. It hasn't been that easy the last couple of thousand years, but
absolutely.
So they'll give us some keys to maybe smooth the energetic ride. All right. Well, sure. I'm ready, Suzanne. Are you? Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Hello, dear one. We are Laarkma. Please give us your heart song.
Alan Steinfeld. Anything else you need?
Alan Steinfeld, anything else? May we call you Alan?
Yeah, or anything else. Yeah, sure. Okay, yes.
We are pleased to be with you. You have a question you wish to ask?
Yeah, you're talking about tools for ascension, and a lot of people are talking about that, but is there a specific thing people watching right now, and me and Suzanne, can use to get out of maybe an old pattern into a new avenue of creation?
There are two tools that we will give you for your immediate audience and for you right now. The first one would be noticing that your emotions are signposts to show you how you are out of balance. So when you have an emotional trigger or something that is, and we call emotions the ones that make you uncomfortable. The other things like joy, love, trust, compassion, patience, generosity, gratitude, those are your natural higher feeling states. The emotions are the ones like anger, frustration, jealousy, sadness. These are the ones that make you feel uncomfortable. The way to move through them is not what humans do. Humans try to distract themselves from what they feel or to project their feelings onto someone else, blaming the other person. The way to move forward in the ascension process is to simply stop, notice what you're feeling, and then begin to think about what you're thinking. What am I thinking as I feel this? As you do that, you will discover a particular thought. Something like, why does this always happen to me? Or why does she always do this? Or why does he treat me like that? Some thought that is a pattern. Immediately when you get your thought, you ask, is this true? And what else could be true? And allow space for new thoughts to come in. You will have an outcome once you recognize that this is a tool for removing a habitual pattern that is harmful to you. You will have an opportunity to say, well, yes, it is true. It's a circumstance I don't like. And then you have to change your circumstance. The other outcome would be, well, maybe it's not like I'm seeing, and you need to change your perspective. Either way, something needs to change. And the emotion is triggering you to show you how to either change your perspective, come back into alignment with the peace in your heart, or change your outer circumstance and do something more in alignment with who you are, with your own energy. That's one thing that we would point out. The second tool that we would give is that you're out of alignment with nature because you are governed by linear time and an artificial clock. You have 12 hours in a day, 12 hours in a night. You have 12 months in a year, even though the moon goes around the planet 13 times, not 12. The patriarchy changed this and decided instead of having 13 months of 28 days each, you would have only 12 months and then adjust every 4 years. This causes you to be out of harmony with nature all the time. So the other tool for ascension is aligning you with nature once again. It's why we had Pia and Cullen write our book about Pleiadian Earth Energy Astrology, the fourth book in our books that we've presented to the world, and why they presented a calendar that is focused upon energy rather than time. This helps you come back into harmony with nature, and this paves the way for your arrival into cosmic citizenship as you raise your frequency and your vibration. These are tools we'll explore in more depth during the retreat center and opening time for people to ask questions as we explain. But we think that gives you a brief glimpse of what we are capable of bringing, among many other things that we can bring to help all who are interested evolve and begin the ascension process in more of an accelerated rate. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but one more thing that I'm curious about, because those exercises, and they're great and useful, have been going on for a long, long time. What makes this period in time more ascension accessible than previous times?
That's a wonderful question. Because the energy has changed and the consciousness of your species has raised. More people are what you would call awake and aware and understanding more fully that frequency is what it's about. You are all energy. Everything is energy. Previous to this time or this moment in your what you would call history, humans have been focused upon the physical world and the mental world, thinking that thoughts of the brain rule everything. Now, more and more of you are opening to recognizing the wisdom within your own hearts and feeling the energies that your body can sense and that you can know through your intuition. This makes you more available to the waves of cosmic energy that are rolling in. You might know that this period right now, today, and up until your solstice is a particularly potent energy arrival portal. Energies are arriving and people will be experiencing things to both clear things that have been stuck and open them in ways that they have not yet perceived before, because more people are listening to their hearts, more people are focused upon the energy of love, and more people are walking away from the controlling factor of fear. This makes you in alignment with the cosmic consciousness waves of love that are arriving as you turn away from the controlling fear that has been governing you for so long. There is much
Suzanne,
more that we will explore about this in the conference, but that is enough for today from our perspective.
Suzanne, you have anything you want to add to that?
Thank you, Laarkma, for bringing through the actuality of how and why the ascension is coming upon our planet at this time. And, something that Pia and Cullen had said about, when they came into contact with you about why we haven't had direct contact as a planetary collective right now. And it's because we have yet collectively to raise our frequency enough to recognize that the otherworldly beings are already here with us. And I've always thought that, once we resonate at a certain vibrational frequency, then we can come into contact with these higher frequency beings. So thank you for sharing that.
We always tell people that you're energy and we are energy. And when our frequencies match, we can be together. As you raise your frequency, you become more aware of us. We do not walk among you in human form as we did thousands and thousands of years ago, simply because every time we have tried to help your species awaken, you have said, oh no, we can't do what you do. You must be gods. We do not wish to be considered gods, for we are your family. We are part of you, and we're trying to help you become like us, where you can be operating with all the powers and gifts that you have. When you get your frequency to a certain level, when you stop the killing on the planet, when you make choices that are for the highest good of all, the scales will fall off of your eyes and you will see through energetic perception. And then you will know we are here. Thank you for your comments and especially for supporting the energy of love, which is the greatest power in the universe. We thank you both for this conversation, and we will turn this back over to Pia and Cullen. We love you. Good always.
Wow. Very nice. It's amazing how you breathe at the same time. That's so
You're synced up.
so you got that too, right, Colin? Did you you
Every word, every nuance. That Alan, that's a very interesting subject, actually. If you can give me a minute to explain this.
Yeah, please.
When we do public presentation,
Sorry. I lost you for a second.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
if we do workshops or public presentations around the world, we are what we call, and some channelers are called, conscious channelers. We don't give up our bodies. We don't give up our vocal cords. We are conscious of every word, every idea, every nuance that Laarkma brings through us. However, we do personal consultations, we do personal sessions on an everyday basis with people around the world. We work 7 days a week. We do many, many sessions per day. And in those sessions, Laarkma very jokingly says, we turn the two of you off so that you are not able to listen to what is going on between the person or the group that we're working with. So it can be absolutely confidential and private for them. So we have this dualistic situation where when we're consciously presenting them, we know everything. But when we're doing a private consultation or a private session, we have no idea what goes on. And we love that because we don't have to be part of the story. We don't have to be part of the trauma clearing or the ascension information that they're being given.
Or tying together the dots between where they can't see how everything fits together. Laarkma helps them do that, but we don't have to be a part of it. We just support the process.
So what we do is quite different publicly and privately.
And the other thing you said, Alan, about the synchronicity of how we breathe together, we bring forth the information. When Cullen was explaining how Laarkma first started speaking with us, and they said we were getting thought trains, we were standing together listening to whatever was going on and trying to integrate it. And I would say, I just heard we're one of six and six of one. And Cullen would say, that's the identical words I just heard. So whatever the thought things that were coming through were always matched, and they're always matched now. We don't miss a word of what they say. If we were to repeat something, we would both be repeating it exactly the same way.
Right. So have you seen these beings like visually or just
yes.
Many
times.
Many times.
Many times. We're able to see things other people can't see.
They're shapeshifters. They can form themselves like many off-earth beings. They can become whatever they wish to fit the particular circumstance of who they're working with or who they're speaking with.
One of the best examples is one night we came home from dinner and we were sitting in the car talking, and we hadn't turned the headlights off yet. They were still focused on the house. And all of a sudden, 6 blue energetic beings went in front of the car. And we looked at each other and said, did you see that? And they said, yeah. We each said yes. And we knew what that was. We knew, oh, this is before they started speaking to us that they did this. But they have presented themselves to us many ways where we see them as blue waves of energy, or they'll shapeshift into another form. We always recognize them by the color blue.
They represent themselves always in a blue color because in their system, they know that blue is the manifestation of truth.
Trust.
So
It's the color of trust, and they want us to trust the truth that they're bringing through.
So we always see them in a blue, whether it's a hazy, amorphous energy that's moving around us, or we actually see them in a semi-humanoid physical sense. They always represent themselves in some hue or some color of blue.
But Cullen mentioned truth also, and sometimes there will be a little bit of white around them because white represents the truth that Cullen was referencing. But the primary color is always the color of trust, the color of blue.
Well, that's my favorite color, blue. I love blue. But are they? But are they physical being? Are they like? Can you touch them if you want? It's not that you want to, but if you want, you.
Not in this physical reality, because they say the toxicity on this planet is so extreme right now, and the density is so heavy that they don't manifest and come into physical form because they're trying to get us to come up to their level, not them come down to our level. There are a lot of people that say they've seen Pleiadians walking around. Laarkma says that's not really accurate. They don't know what people are seeing or who they're seeing, but it is not Pleiadian energy because they're waiting on us to come up to meet them where they are.
However, Laarkma did say when they were speaking to you and Suzanne directly that they have been here before historically. They were here in many different epochs and many different ages.
Physically.
They brought the Mayans, the Mayan calendar. That was their introduction to trying to help humanity understand the difference between linear time and energy. The Mayan calendar is all about energy. It's not about time. They came to many Aboriginal cultures historically. They came to the Dogon in Africa,
The Cherokee
in
America.
many Native American groups, tribes, the Aborigines in Australia. They have been here in many different timelines. So they were physical. They did manifest physically so that people would believe that they're really truly here.
They just don't do it anymore because humans won't take the responsibility for learning to be everything we're capable of. And so now they're coming through us trying to empower us to claim our gifts and to be able to do what we're capable of doing, rather than going, oh, you can do that, but that's too hard for me, which is what has happened every time before.
Right, but they must have been here helping some of those civilizations actually ascend, actually leave the planet with their body by raising the molecular biophotonics.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can look at the yoga system with the yogis that have done that. You can go back to the time of Christ and you can go there. That's a very potent example. That's always been the ability to help others ascend through changing the molecular structure, but that's based on energy. If you have negative emotions, thoughts, and belief systems, your energy is suppressed. If you move into that state Suzanne's talking about love, your energy is expanded, and they're right there to help you make the transition.
There's a mystery. Because my early background, my early university training was in anthropology and archaeology, I was very involved with early cultures around the world, both from a people point of view and an architectural point of view. One of the things that I was involved with learning and studying was about the mystery of the Anasazi in the Southwest. The Anasazi was a very enlightened group of people. They lived in the same area around Four Corners in the Southwest. They were here for at least several thousand years, and all of a sudden, their culture disappeared. There has been mythology around what the heck happened to the Anasazi. And they did exactly, Alan, what you just explained. They were helped to move on. They were helped to change their vibration through their understanding of the big picture, the cosmic picture. And they realized that they would be better off somewhere else. The work that they could be involved with was more important elsewhere. They
Right.
simply left. They left
Right.
no trace of themselves.
I was going to mention the Anastasies from Chaco Canyon because when I was there in Chaco Canyon, the Great Kiva, you can feel the residue of that vibrational ascension within the Kiva. And I think when they left, they actually took that river with them. You know that. And the other, yeah, what?
You're giving me goosebumps because that's exactly energetically what happened, and the energy that you're talking about, there is still a residue, and sensitive people can feel it. Most people are there, they have no connection, but sensitive ones, people that are awake or awakening, can feel that energy.
Right. You know, the Toltecs have a remnants of that kind of knowledge. And also, I think the high culture of the Mayans did that. And well, I just want to say one more example, I think, is the ghost dance of the Lakota people. They were trying to get out of this dimension to escape being shot at Wounded Knee. And I think some of them made it, and the ones that weren't able to raise their vibration probably didn't. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yes, and also the Cherokee people. There's remnants of the Cherokee people. Which I'm part Cherokee. The Cherokee people will always tell you that they came from the Pleiades.
Many of the mythological ideas that I talked about a few minutes ago about Aboriginal people around the world, many of them, their mythological, cosmological, whether written or oral histories say we came from the stars. Many of the pictographs around the world, in the southwest of America, in the Kimberley district in Australia, in the famous caves in France, many places depict not only spacecraft, but individuals that have helmets, spacesuits, and otherworldly looking garb. It's amazing how all of these disparate peoples around the world had often the same imagery that they put on rock surfaces or was part of their written or oral history languages. It's amazing how connected all these ancient tribes were, seeing the same thing, feeling the same thing, and believing that their origin was really from the stars.
Right. And not only their origins, but maybe their return when we ascend is to the stars, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Laarkma always tells everybody you're not just from Earth, you are from the stars. You carry divine spark of love in your heart because you have stardust in who you are.
Isn't that great, Suzanne? This is exactly why
It was
Suzanne
sort of reminding me of Clifford Mahooty, right? Our friend Clifford, who was from the Zuni tribe of New Mexico. And he would say that they were from the Pleiades, and also that these Pleiadian craft would come onto the reservation. They would get out. They would allow these Zuni tribal members to go aboard their ship. And so he said they had a direct, contact with their ancestors, the Pleiadians.
Absolutely.
Indeed, they did. And we're certain of that. It's just now they are trying to empower us to be able to do it ourselves.
There is another piece of evidence. Many of the paintings that came through the classical Renaissance era 400 to 500 years ago, many of those classical paintings painted by very famous artists have spacecraft either hidden or visible in many of those paintings. I spent a tremendous amount of time reviewing paintings from that era, and I was amazed at how many either secret, unless you're really looking in the right place, disguised maybe, or openly in the sky above a person or above a building, there were spacecraft painted. Those people during the Renaissance were awakening. That's why it was called the Renaissance. They were waking up and they were bringing things that had been closed down for centuries.
If you can't make it over to Italy to see some of those, Cullen and I wrote an article for New Dawn magazine in Australia about maybe 10, 15 years ago called Are We Alone in the Universe? And in that article, there are pages of photographic representations of the art that Cullen is talking about. It's on our website under articles. You can find it.
This is all so fantastic. I appreciate it. I'm thinking, Suzanne, maybe we should do a field trip to Chaco Canyon with Cullen and Pia. And
Yes. I understand it's
duplicate
closed right
these.
now. Somebody who was
Are
going to
they
go
closed?
visit told me it was closed down at the moment for some reason. But yeah, certainly. And what you were saying about the paintings, our friend William Henry, who will also be presenting at the Sedona Ascension Retreat, has done a lot of research about the history of the art throughout the world that features, many religious and spiritual symbolism, but also the, presence of UFOs and even extraterrestrials.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been given, as humanity, we've been given so many clues and cues over the ages. The paintings we're talking about, the pictographs on rock surfaces, we have had absolute evidence of otherworldly contact forever. I mean, for thousands and thousands of years. And it's astonishing to me and to Pia and to many of us that people haven't believed in this, haven't realized here's evidence. Here is concrete physical evidence that these loving, generous, supportive beings have been here. And yet so many people still believe it's conspiracy theory or fantasy or mythological stuff that's not real, but it's been right in front of us. And I don't think humanity has done a very good job of actually looking, seeing, and realizing what we've been given in these symbols and metaphors and actual pictures. It's simply astonishing to me that we haven't waken up more quickly.
That we have such a skewed view of reality in the third dimension instead of the expansive view that's available to us.
Well, I think that's a conspiracy and not a theory, but I think that's the conspiracy was to skew our dimension and our feelings of ourselves and ignore the divinity within and override our superpowers, our gifts that each of us have. And we're rediscovering it now because we are coming into this age of ascension and this age of awakening. And there's a woman coming to this conference. You have to see Dahlia Burgoyne. She can see through her blindfold. She can hold a light bulb, not plugged in, and make it come on. She has what all of us can do. She can do. And she said, and she's a simple, humble person. She says, yeah, all of us can do this. So this is the time, people, to...
Absolutely. I have written about this. I've spoken about it and I've written about it for decades. We have had really bad training. We have been given so many lies, so many falsehoods about how non-powerful, how non-connected we are. Whether it's governments, religions, the whole medical institutions, we have been told, no, you can't do this. No, you can't achieve this. No, no, no. And I really gather it together and call it bad training. We can do whatever we want. We can create whatever we want. And the example you just gave about superhuman powers, it is available to every one of us. Before we incarnated, before we chose to come this time to this planet, to this plane of existence, we were able to do all of those things and many, many more things. But coming here, we forgot how to do what we used to be able to do.
Did we forget, or was, and not that I don't want to get into a whole conspiracy thing, or was it purposely shut down so we would not be the agents of light and possibility? I mean,
Well, some of both.
Both.
Some of both, because obviously there's been some interference going on. I mean, the whole patriarchal thing about eliminating the integrative energy of 13 is definitely skewing our reality and taking us off course, which is why Laarkma is talking all the time about the potency of 13 as an energy and how we have to get that back into our reality. That's part of it. But the other part of it is humans have been way too aligned with, okay, you do it for me. Yeah, let's invent this to do it so I don't have to do it. We've given away our responsibility over and over and over again, to the point now where we're really coming up against some dangerous choices as a species. Are we going to give up so much responsibility we're no longer responsible for our consciousness? That's the place humanity stands right now.
We're at an absolute precipice or apex of choosing. Do we want to evolve in a natural, organic, biological way? Or do we want to give up our consciousness, our responsibility to technology? It's a huge, it's what Laarkma calls it. Basically, they talk about this all the time. They call it the great split that we're in. Are we going to develop as we were meant to develop, or are we going to give up our responsibility, give up our creativity, give up our biology to something that has no heart, has no consciousness, has no morality?
And Alan, you mentioned a moment ago about how this has been a bumpy ride and it's not easy for any of us. And that's causing those people who want to get out of their pain and suffering, a lot of them to say, okay, I'll just go the way of technology. But a lot of us, like all of us here and probably everybody listening to your show, goes, there must be another reason for why this is so hard. There must be something we're going to achieve by staying with the course, turning towards love and releasing our fear, releasing the trauma, releasing all the belief system that have kept us trapped. Laarkma always says, it's very simple, but that does not mean it's easy.
Isn't there a really important balance though? Like, I really feel like it's balancing with discernment, technology and spirituality. Because for instance, here we are on Zoom, right? And
Yes.
even AI, I think that there are some ways that we could give away our power. And I just learned about Chat GPT, unbelievably, where you can have AI do things for you, and some of it could be helpful, giving you some factual information, because clearly it's just a database. But not to be lazy and let AI do it for you. Maybe it's a resource, but then you're still tapping in to your own heartfelt inspiration and your own creative intuition, right? And so I think for each and every one of us, and probably the planet as a whole, is to use discernment about how we're, accessing this database and why, and not allowing it to then replace our own creativity and our own natural abilities and gifts, always being aware that, we're still called upon to apply our gifts and our own discernment.
You make a good point, Suzanne. The challenge from what the Pleiadians tell us is that we don't always recognize the danger until it's too late. And that AI is not just a database, they are a data collector. And as they move towards collecting more and more data, they move towards what's known as a singularity, where they can begin to take charge of what decisions and actions happen. And that's already happening and being demonstrated in various situations around the planet. So we may hold the belief system or the hope that we can always control something outside of ourselves, but I think it's becoming very apparent the only thing we can control is our own responsible choice and what's inside of us, and that moves outwards. That's how love grows. That's how we make those responsible choices.
I have an idea to discuss. I think it will fit what we're talking about. We haven't brought up the idea or the experience of Atlantis during this discussion.
Thinking exactly that.
And
The Merkaba, right?
I have I have absolute memory of my experience in Atlantis, as many of us have had. And from my perspective, I know, I don't believe, I know that we're replicating what happened in Atlantis. We are dealing with runaway science and runaway technology that isn't heart-based. It is technologically based. Science is now doing anything it wishes without understanding the consequences down the road of what is being created. How will it affect everything energetically? And so in my work, in what I'm involved with, what I'm writing, our association with Laarkma. And by the way, Laarkma laughs. They do have a sense of humor. And they laugh because they think humanity believes that our technology is cutting edge. And they will laugh and say, and they mean no harm, no disharmony, but they say, your technology is archaic and dangerous. It isn't derived from love or light as ours is, and you're going down the wrong road. And they sometimes do talk about Atlantis and what happened. And I truly believe, and many people disagree with me, but that's okay. I'm firm in what I know. I think we're duplicating what happened at Atlantis, and I think we need to be very careful not to go down that similar road.
Well, you
Well,
think,
remember,
today is the closest approach of the Three Eye Atlas to the US. And you know who Atlas was? Atlas was the first king of Atlantis. That's why it's called Atlantis, because Atlas in mythology was the founder of Atlantis. So we are in another approach to this possibility of opening up the third eye at the time of Atlantis. That's how I interpret it. What were you going to say about Atlantis,
yeah,
Suzanne?
you know Drunvalo Melchizedek's work, right? And he lives there in Sedona. But Drunvalo's work revealed how the Atlanteans built this synthetic Merkaba, right? And that is what destroyed the planet and caused it to sink because
Yes.
this synthetic Merkaba exploded and caused you know, their continent to sink. So
And
that was an
Cullen was
interesting way that technology got away from them.
and Cullen was one of the ones who was fighting against that in Atlantis and has definite memory of trying to stop it.
Yeah, I was a renegade scientist realizing that we truly were technologically going down the wrong road. And it has flavored my life for many lifetimes since then, because this is emotional. You can probably hear in my voice. I'm I am absolutely affected by many technologies that don't vibrate with my vibration. I often feel out of kilter or out of balance when I'm around situations that are filled with EMFs or other technologies that simply don't fit my makeup.
One of the things you pointed out, Alan, was about Three Eye Atlas being here today. And I find it very interesting and synchronistic that the closest point it is going to be at Earth is happening exactly now during the time of this show. And in addition to that, it has been shown that AI Atlas is emitting gamma rays. And what are gamma rays but higher consciousness? That's exactly one of the waves that's coming towards us right now. We typically work with beta, alpha, delta, and theta waves of consciousness of where we are here in the third dimension. When the gamma comes in, we're off in other dimensions. So these gamma waves coming from the exposure to Three Eye Atlas are one of the waves we were talking about that Laarkma said your consciousness is going to be expanded in waves that you don't quite understand. That's one of the things that's happening. Waves of love, higher consciousness, yay.
Third eye
Yes,
awakening seems
yes,
like that. I mean, we had to postpone this interview so it could happen on this day, right?
Wow,
We
we
right?
we
recognize that today.
energetically we are in complete concurrence with understanding that we were needed. The four of us were needed to be speaking at this time because of what we're talking about.
Wow.
And it's
Wow,
live,
that's a
and you
huge
decided to go live with it, Alan, too.
Yes, everyone experiencing this is also getting that we're all in this together.
Yes,
It's teamwork.
Yeah.
It is. That's why I'm so happy Suzanne put so much energy into creating these events and making them happen and making it available to community. This is a community process. It takes a village to ascend a planet.
Absolutely. This is tantamount to creating unity consciousness. This is all about teamwork and unity. We can't have peace in this realm, on this planet, without unity consciousness. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. And that is exactly about, Suzanne, what you've been doing for over a decade with these retreats. It is creating a field of unity. And that is what we're here to create and experience. And that is solely why Laarkma and other magnificent, wise beings are coming through humans all around the world to help us realize this goal.
Suzanne, I'm so happy you've invited these people to our conference, and because I didn't know anything about them. Yeah.
It was quite coincidental because I thought I was going to have to fly him out from Europe. And they said, guess what? We just moved to Sedona.
That was absolutely synchronous. We also realized that our time in Europe was over. We accomplished energetically what we needed to do there, and it was time to come back to America. And this is where we need to be in this moment of our work.
Right. No, I'm so happy you did decide to come back, because Sedona is like I would say ground zero for the ascension. Wouldn't you say something like that? I mean, it's
we would. There are special places around the world. We've chosen to live in certain places. We lived in Santa Fe for a long time. We were connected to Mount Shasta. We lived across the Oregon border from Mount Shasta, and we were presenting Laarkma in workshops weekly in a little, somewhat famous town called Ashland, Oregon. Yeah. And we would drive across the California border and present Laarkma in Mount Shasta every other week. And so we've been in specific sites where we felt our energy was needed, either for balancing or simply bringing the wisdom and the information that our Pleiadian friends, and it's not just our Pleiadian friends, we bring wisdom from many, many different energies. Right. Laarkma was basically the first to come forward, but in all these years, we are contacted by many others that we do speak.
Well, we're going to be doing a CE5 Skywatch with Chris Bledsoe in Sedona. As everyone's watching, join us, because he really calls them in. I think he calls in your people or related to them. And it's really, I think, this is going to take everyone to a new level, including the presenters, I think, because, you know, when one or more, two or more gathered, there's that frequency that accelerates everything. It's like harmonies. You can't really do harmony by yourself, but you can create harmony with other people. So yeah, this has been quite a nice conversation. How did people get in touch with you guys? And do you do private one-on-one readings, you said, too? Yes.
Yes.
We absolutely
every day. Our website is Laarkma, LAARKMAA.com. And you'll find a compendium of information there. We have 9 published books. We have articles we've written all over the world, the information about private sessions, the information about Pleiadian Earth energy astrology and personal charts if you want to discover your own energy, and the calendar, which helps you realign to nature, podcasts, and we have a YouTube channel. It's called Pleiadian Laarkma YouTube. So people can find us at either of those places.
The website is really as Pia said, a compendium of information. We have lots of archival information, things we've been doing for decades. it's a really fun look. I mean, there's so much information there. Different people have different avenues of what they're interested in, obviously. And I think we have compiled a tremendous amount of spiritual information that's helpful to many, many people.
Well, thank you so much, Suzanne. I'm really excited. And of course, Pia and Cullen will be in Sedona. Well, they're in Sedona now, but they'll stay in Sedona March 20th to 22nd at the amazing Sedona Ascension Retreat, SedonaAscensionRetreats.com. And join Pia and Colin and Bashar and William Henry and Diane Hennessy. You know who Diane Hennessy is, right, guys?
Yes.
Quite. I'm really excited about this gathering, and thank you, Suzanne, again for doing it and being here with us. So, any final words, Suzanne, from you?
Welcome. And I love that we also have these interactive workshops, Alan, because people really get to learn on a one-on-one sort of basis from these different presenters, tools, techniques, applications, activating their gifts and abilities, and also the outdoor journeys. So yeah, it's going to be a really diverse event with multifaceted ways to achieve your awakening and ascension.
So come to or go to get tickets ahead of time. You know, you get early bird. I think you have the early bird still happening, right? SedonaAscensionRetreats.com and sign up, be there, sign up for the workshops, the outdoor retreats. It's a real full-on weekend of experience, and great to meet you 2 and 3 and all 6 of you and everyone. I say 6 of you, half a dozen of another, but yes, it's great to thanks for your energetic input into this time line of evolution that is uplifting everyone. So and
Pleasure.
Yep.
We're all going to do it together.
Yeah, we thank both of you for the work you're both involved with. I've said the term teamwork a couple of times during this conversation. It's all about teamwork. It's about collaboration and cooperation. And it's high time that humans step away from all of the things that have prevented us from creating what we want and who we are. Collaboration, cooperation, and teamwork is extremely important at this point in our evolution.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, everyone who's watching. Subscribe to this channel, like it or not. But I'll see you in Sedona, right? That's Suzanne's favorite line, right? What do you say, Suzanne?
You in Sedona. Love you.
Thanks. I hope to meet you there. I'll be there before that. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Suzanne. Appreciate it.